Juan Chanello, one of our trainers here. It was awesome. He definitely balanced out a lot of my tightnesses. He worked a lot of my hips, my shoulders. So I'm pretty excited today to use my body in a nice balanced out state after a massage. Everything's feeling good. I'm trying to do a little bit more heavier weightlifting recently. I'm going to start, I want to do some lunges today, kind of get some more mobility in my hip flexors. And yeah, so let's start with that. We're going to warm up with some variations of lunges. Trying out some new camera angles today, so hopefully this all works out pretty well. All right, we're going to do, we're just going to do alternating just to warm up. Reverse lunges. So pretty basic. I like the reverse lunges. It's a little bit easier to control. Forward lunges are a little bit more dynamic. I usually use do forward lunges once I warmed up a little bit. All right, while you're starting to say hello, I give get a little squeeze in my glutes. Consciously, that is. Engaging those glute muscles on the way up, especially. So I can go left glute, press, right glute, press, left glute, press. So we got a saying here, arr. You're squeezing the booty. Arr, yeah. All right, so we got reverse lunges. See, I'm a little at my top time. So it's about 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Look at my start point. Get to for about 30, 40 minutes today. We'll see how I feel. All right, so now I want to get some arms involved. So I'm going to do forward lunges, but I'm going to keep arms overhead just to get my shoulders a nice warm up. And as you can see, I have to push back off that front leg. And anytime your arms go overhead, you're going to definitely be working more your core, all your low back stabilizers, all your scapular muscles, and then everything below the pelvis has to do the lunge movement. So a lot of core and trunk muscles are working to keep the weight over the head. And this is definitely a good way to get your heart rate up. Good way to warm up the shoulders. It's functional movement, lifting things over the head. Putting things up onto a top shelf. Do about 10 more of these. Oh, my arms are bending. Why didn't you tell me? 6, 5, 4. There we go. Oh, we're centered. There we go. 3, 2, and 1. Ooh. All right, so that was a little warm up. Got my shoulders warm, got my legs warm. Today, I did a lot of pull-ups the other day, so today I'm gonna do more pushing. I'll do some shoulder work, maybe some biceps, all while integrating some heavier leg stuff. So, we're gonna do some different push-up progressions. I'm gonna start with a basic plank. From here, I'm gonna keep my core strong, and I'm gonna try to do some alternating shoulder extensions. And keeping my core engaged and my hips neutral will definitely integrate everything through here. And let me know if my arch is too pronounced in my back, because I am a more hyperlordotic in general. All right, that warmed things up. Let me turn this background noise off. Okay, so. All right, so shoulders are warm. I want to get back at some legs. But again, I'm going big today. I want to do some bigger stuff for more strength training stuff, heavier weights, lower reps, probably mid-range on the reps, probably like 12 to 15. So more endurance realm. But a lot of the things I'm working on recently are more range of motion, more mobility. And then I'll do heavier days as well. I'm kind of all over the place with my fitness right now, but again, I like variety. I don't like to kind of work on one project too often. I like to work on lots of projects. So, all right. So I'm gonna go forward lunge. I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna curl. I'm gonna press. So I knock out my shoulders, knock out my biceps, and I'm gonna switch. So isometric lunge. At the bottom. Woo! Hello, hip flexors. Oh, lost it. Woo! That shows what adding 60 pounds to a lunge will do. Woo! Heart rate is getting up there. Hello, quads. Oh, all right, I'm gonna do 4 more. Mostly because I want to do 1 more. So the trainer in me says 3 more than you normally do. Oh. 2 more. Oh, yes. All right. That sucked. Heart rate's up. So I'm doing the higher reps today so I can get more of a high intensity day, but still build some strength. Doing some conditioning this Saturday, so I'll be doing some more explosive stuff, sprint work, agility, plyos. So I'm not going to do many plyos or fast-paced things today, just so I can have those muscles ready for Saturday for that contraction rate variable. So that's a good way to look at training and mixing up your training program, is adding a different contraction rate each time you work out. So whether it's an isometric hold, slow concentrics, fast concentrics, slow eccentrics, fast eccentrics, holding contractions at different ranges of motion. All right, I lied. I'm not going to do plyos for legs. I feel I want to do some faster stuff in my upper body. So I'm going to use these weights, kind of explode out of them, kind of come down slow, explode. If you get your arms off, that's definitely going to be, lay your hands up, it's definitely going to be more of a challenge. But just maintain that stability of the weights because they will knock over. So be ready to catch yourself if they go. Woo. Oh yeah. Okay, so that burned out pretty quick. A faster, explosive movement. Definitely wears you out pretty quick. Look at a towel. Where's sweating? All right, 10 minutes in. Good start. Good start. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go with that upper body stuff for a minute, and I'll get back into legs. All right. Actually, I'm gonna do some legs now. I'll work on some balance. We're gonna do some bicep curls. I'm gonna change up the rate of the biceps. So what I'm doing here, I'm gonna do balance, just a stork stance. I'm gonna go bicep curl, right side, shoulder press, and then bicep curl, shoulder press. And I'm gonna get a little rhythm going, speed it up a little bit. That way we're putting 60 pounds of extra weight through my balancing leg. Woo! My arms are getting tired, so I'm gonna switch to the other side. All right. Woo! Anything you can do on 2 legs, you can do on 1. Woo! All right, one more. That right leg is a lot more unstable. Woo! So we do a series of assessment exercises for your first session with the best method, and one-legged squats, balancing, is one of our assessment exercises. But we have progressions with no equipment and then progressions with equipment. And that would be a nice high-level progression for adding dumbbells to the one-legged squat protocol. Now, I didn't squat as much with that one. I was doing balance. So let's kind of integrate that. So let's do so I'm doing a one-legged squat. I'm gonna mix it up. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hold the squat about halfway down, and then I'm going to bicep curl shoulder press. So I'm not gonna have a lot of these in me. So I got squat, bicep shoulder press. That is nearly impossible. Yeah, so that really shows how putting weight over your head requires the whole body. So do the same on the right. Woo! All right, so my legs and arms definitely feeling a little work. So I'm gonna go back into some, I think I wanna do some more push-ups today, so mix up, I'm gonna change the angle up on these. Last time I was about shoulder width apart. This time I'm a little wider. So we have to be wary that these don't rock in place. All right, so this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be more of a range of motion, mobility exercise with the shoulders, but I'm gonna integrate the core and lower body as well. So this is kind of dynamic, lots of stuff going on, but I will integrate a push-up as well. So we're gonna start the wide push-up, kind of get past, kind of go full range of motion. I'm gonna balance my arms through the weights. I'm gonna pull my feet along and up and out. Again, Get that nice range of motion through the shoulders. Should I do a tricep dip? Why not? I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna cross over. Cross overs. Add layers of this cake of awesomeness. And I'm gonna walk back. Oh, the shoulders are fried. Okay, that was really hard. That transition took a lot out of me. It's interesting, but not surprising. Because, like I said, this is a total body, very dynamic exercise. So, heart rate is up, a lot of blood being pumped to a lot of muscles. All right, so there we go. You do that again. Nice wide push-up. And these are great because you don't have to do a lot of these. So get a lot of stuff right. So up. I'm gonna hold tricep, cross, get some range of motion in the hips, cross, up, and this part sucks. Oh, oh man. You know what's interesting is every fiber of the pec is working through that. So if you wanna work on pecs, you do bench presses, but they're gonna limit you to one range. Things like this are going to get a lot of different ranges to that shoulder, working muscles all the way along the range. So we got traditional, traditional push-up, get that range, and then we're going into extension of the shoulders, extension, 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 extension. Then while we're in extension, we're going to drop into a tricep, going into more extension of the shoulders, coming out of that, back into a flexion movement with the shoulders, back to neutral. So we're going from neutral, we'll call it neutral, or just 90 degrees of flexion, and then this would be neutral, and then 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever degrees of extension, and then integrating the triceps, which forces the shoulders into more extension. So we watch that extension. It's this angle, and then extending more. Watching that shoulder blade, that humerus doesn't roll too far forward, because the humerus is rolling with the shoulder blade. The whole complex is going forward. So keeping that shoulder blade back, using all these muscles, is only going to be beneficial for teaching scapular retraction and depression, which is going to go on lower trap, rhomboids, lats, all those muscle tissues pulling down as you're coming forward. And so I see this a lot, which puts a lot of stress on the front of that shoulder. A lot of athletes have this position. Makes your traps look good, but it ends up causing some imbalances and ultimately dysfunction, and eventually some chronic pain or injury. All right, so because I'm a glutton for punishment, I'm going to take this 30-pound weight that I have here. I'm going to do some different lunges. All right, what we're going to do, we're going to lunge down. I'm going to go across my body, get some trunk rotations, and some bicep curls. And pulsing kind of fast, so kind of stabilizing that craziness in the hips and spine as the 30-pound weight tries to pull on my center of gravity like that. So you can really see how integrating some other mechanical systems into isometric hold really makes everything have to stabilize and lock down to keep you secure. So 30 pounds, gravity pulling down 30 pounds, but also the inertia of that movement. So you're not only, the momentum of the weight also going that way. So that 30 pounds becomes 60, 100 pounds of force, or more, I don't know, I'm not good at math, but you get the picture. You're gonna start throwing that weight around, everything here is out to work a lot more. So it's somewhat dynamic in that you know what the movement's gonna be, but engaging all the muscles to counter the movement is where the challenge comes from. What leg did I do forward first? Was it the left or the right? I think it was the left, yeah. Maybe? Oh, yeah, that feels right. Yeah. So you can kind of see how my trunk wants to go with the weight, and my hips want to go opposite. I was always told in football, on defense, or rugby, or anytime you're defending somebody, basketball too, on defense, always watch the person's hips. Hips always tell you which way. Ooh. Hips and belly button, right in this area. That never lies. If they're gonna go that way, their belly button's gonna tell you. Their hands might go this way, but that belly button's still going the way. So if they're holding the ball here, their belly button brings them to where they're gonna go. So keep an eye on that. Don't watch the ball, watch the hips and the belly button. Because as you saw there, my center of gravity went to where it needed to be to maintain that stability in that very dynamic exercise. Okay, so all right, so back to 60 pounds of load, 30 in each arm. I'm going to do something that I absolutely abhor. Yeah, abhor? Hate. These are called, I don't know what they're called, maybe there's a name for them, but I call them lunges without coming out of the lunge. So the way it goes here is we stay low. Instead of coming up out of the lunge, we maintain that front knee always low. So our hips, our center of gravity stays low. So from the side it looks like this. Stay low in the lunge. This fries your quads. It's also a great way if you're doing conditioning or agility out on the field and you don't have weights. If you walk through this and keep the hips low and kind of drag that back foot. Let's see. You can probably see me here. So if I get low here and then I can kind of come fast, same idea. You're going to be keeping hips low, kind of dragging that back foot, keeping quads, glutes, hammies, everything down here recruited and engaged without coming out of the movement. So the muscles stay under tension, under load at a greater point of stress for a longer period of time. And it's great for getting heart rate up too, because again, more muscles contracting for longer periods of time, higher heart rate. All right, so I'm going to go back to the stationary ones, adding the weight to it. But again, knowing you can do the walking ones if you don't have weight and you can cover some distance. Try that, try 100 yards of that on a football field. You will not be walking tomorrow comfortably. All right. Been working on a lot of my low back strength too, so this is really challenging my whole thoracolumbar fascia, glutes, lats, multifidi, quadratus lumborum, erector complex of the spine. Okay, so gonna give my legs a little break. Arms are getting a little tired holding the weight. You can do walking versions of that with the weights, or excuse me, the agility versions with the weights, but I hope that your knees and your hips and your back are strong and you've got most of your imbalances worked out, because that's very challenging. So have fun with that. Maybe start a lighter weight. Start with no weight is always a safe way to do it. Start slow, go faster once you get the patterning down. All right, going back to some pressing movements, push-up movements. I'm gonna maintain these dumbbells. We're just gonna use these dumbbells as our sole source of equipment today. Nice and stable base, so I can do some different things with them. You know what? I'm gonna do some pushing and some pulling this series, because I did pull-ups the other day, but I did not do rows, so I will be fine with doing some rows today. All right, so these are one of the harder core exercises you can do, especially when you maintain proper form and posture during this. And then as you increase the weight, it definitely ups the ante on intensity. So start position wide stance with your feet, shoulder width apart. We're gonna go push up. On the way up, we're gonna shift to the left. Oh, the opposite leg may come up. Shift to the right, And then back down. Push up. I always like to go wider on my stance. On my feet. Tends to allow me better form. And kind of gets the hip muscles in different angles that you would normally do in real life. Yes, I was resting at the bottom there. Coming down that full range of motion. It's kind of a passive stretch. When I put my body on the floor, it's definitely a passive movement. Come back up, and not so much. Woo! So I haven't done those in a while, so I'm going to stop at however many that was. Just because the competitor in me wants to push through and do more. The clinician in me says, when was the last time you did that with 30 pounds in each hand? And the competitor's like, well, I used to do 20 of those. And the clinician is like, well, when was the last time you did 20 of those? And the competitor would say, I don't remember when. Meaning it was a long time ago. Meaning probably need to do about a third less than I think I should do as a competitor. Always keep that little clinician on your shoulder. Is this safe? When was the last time I did this? If I hurt myself with this, I'm not working out anymore for a while, and I have to start over. Maybe do a third of what you used to do, work your way back up, and in the process, get back those motor patterns that you used to have, which will allow you to keep your safe movement through the full range of motion. Whew. Sorry. Brain is getting foggy. Starting to sweat. Starting to breathe heavy. All right. So that was chest and a little bit of rows. We're going to go back into some legs again. Today I was going to do lunges today. Okay, so we're going to do lunge pulses. Something I haven't done in a while, so I'm not going to do a lot of these. You know what? I'm going to do one weight. I'm going to hold it at chest level, and I'm going to do a pulse at the bottom of the lunge, but I'm also going to do shoulder press. So we're going to hold lunge. We're going to do little pulses. I'm going to pause that, or pulse that there. Then I'm going to do kind of a pulse and a press. It is not easy. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm gonna take a breather before I start the next leg. That shit sucked. All right. Ooh. How's my lighting? It's getting a little darker outside. Not bad. Maybe I'll turn my ISO up a little bit. That's a little better. Let's do one more. Let's go to 1250. Yeah, I'll brighten it up a little bit. Okay, where was I? Okay, so I was on pulses with the right leg forward with a shoulder press with 130-pound dumbbell. Let's rip that out on the other side. So left leg forward. Chest level, do some pulses, get the movement down, and then up. Ooh, my groin. So that's definitely an imbalance. Woo! Okay. Where's my towel? I'm leaking all over the place here. Okay, so again, that's just a different contraction rate. Holding that, kind of pulsing at a 90 to 110 mark of knee flexion. Yeah, so from here to here. So
You could come up to the halfway point and do that also. And that would be a whole different exercise. So, I mean, if you think about it, every range that knee bends, it's stimulating muscles differently, 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 differently. So, usually we hit all those ranges by doing a full lunge, all the way down, all the way up. But if your goal is to really promote some muscle confusion training, stimulating different parts of different muscles on different range of motion, adding more variety to your workout, definitely mix that in. All right, moving right along, 30 minutes in. All right, where do I want to go now? Let's do shoulders today, biceps, push-ups, lunges. All right. Sometimes if I don't know what to do, I just pick things up. And that usually gets my brain working. Okay, so we're gonna do, you know what? We're gonna do curtsy lunges. I don't love these, mostly because I'm weak at them, and I don't like doing things I'm weak at, which is like most of us. So start with a little less weight than you think you should, and then this one's simply gonna be crossing and lunging. I'm just gonna rep these out, or alternate the reps, and just bringing that other leg back, making sure the front knee is always tracking forward. It's a great way to assess for glute medius strength and to challenge glute medius strength on that weight bearing leg, or the front leg. And also stretching that opposite leg, getting some nice active range of motion. Never a bad thing. Strength ability, as I call it. And I said my groin was bothering me earlier on that last one. Felt good there, because I was definitely working a lot to help stabilize that knee. All right, so next thing's next. You know, I'm going to revisit some of the ones we did earlier, add some varieties. I really like the up and under one, mostly because everything from here down was shaking. And as I get older, less of me wants to do more specific body parts, because I know sometimes overtraining of specific body part can often throw other things off. But when you train everything together, your weak points are gonna have to catch up with the strong points because everything's involved. So, and then the strong points are only gonna be able to do so much because the weak points telling you that's enough. So it kind of balances things out. Everything has to work equally for the most part in an intensity standpoint. All right, so I'm gonna bring this back a little bit so you can see my feet. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna make it fun. I'm gonna go cross-legged. I'm gonna sit down, press up. Yeah. And as I drop down, I'm gonna let that knee fall out with a nice external rotation of the femur in the hip socket. And then if you want to go a little faster, get some more explosive movements. That is frying triceps, frying chest, frying lats, and everything in between. Woo. So, hip mobility, glute strength, tricep, shoulder range of motion, core stability, lats, pecs, and everything that holds them all together. So, that's effective. So again, if you're just doing strength training on machines, do some strength training without machines. Mix it up. Machines keep you in one range of motion. That forced me to adjust and adapt to multiple planes of motion. When I start moving my legs different places, again, different physics on the hips and spine, therefore different muscle groups engaging to support the whole system. So, some pecs tomorrow. So I'm gonna write about some pecs. Because I'm a bro. And don't you know, we like to work our pecs. When I went to UF, there's this guy in the gym. He probably weighed 100 pounds. 50 pounds of his weight was in his pectoralis complex. It was crazy. He was a walking pectoralis. I don't think he ever did a day of legs in his life. All pecs. Like I said, he weighed like 100 pounds. Dude was like benching like 300 pounds, I swear. Maybe it wasn't 300, but it was a lot. So, yeah. I imagine there might have been some steroids involved, because those things were freaking massive. So, I'm going to be happy with just my little pecs. Hey, Sydney!
Hey, Al.
What's up?
Nothing much. What's up with you?
I'm just streaming.
Very nice, very nice.
Oh yeah. So getting low, holding it. Just gonna rip these out so they don't go anymore. And that's failure. So what do we measure failure off of? Is it muscle failure, where the muscle cannot produce force anymore? Or is it loss of form? Loss of form is easier to acknowledge than muscle failure. So that's a good way to check left to right discrepancies, is when you're doing a movement and in your mind you know what that movement should look like, and when you get to a point, or if you're watching a mirror, you get to a point where the hips drop, your shoulders shrug up, your head starts falling. Those are all loss of form. That means you've reached your end point. Or you need to pause, correct it, and keep going. Because pushing through some movements with bad form is only going to stress certain joints out. And yeah, you might feel sore the next day, but you also might be teaching yourself some bad movement patterns, which can ultimately make you sore all the time because you're injured. And then you're not stronger. You're just rehabbing stuff. So, I've rehabbed enough injuries to know loss of form is important. Athletes that train with great form and lots of variety get injured less. Alright. We're going to do reverse grip, lunge hold, bicep curls. We're going to do a split squat, so a short stance squat. Bending over. Hands pouring out pitcher. Working the forearms. 3, 2, 1. Switching feet. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. I'm losing form. I should end. 3, 2. But the competitor won. The clinician lost. So yeah. So I did the, it's called pronate grip, neutral, and all the way over is supinated grip. So bowl soup, neutral, pouring out soup. Pronate grip tends to really work the wrist extensors to keep weight from falling, and then all the way up into your forearms, brachioradialis, and the bicep. So open it up, you're gonna work more of the meat inside of the arm, turn it over, work more of the outside. That was tough. So let's see, we're going into 40 minutes now. So I'm gonna call it a wrap there. I'm gonna probably do some range of motion stuff. Yeah, I'll start a new video for range of motion, but enjoy that workout. It's a good 40-minute 2 dumbbell. You got 2 dumbbells, you got a floor, you got a body, no major injuries. You can try this. Any injuries or pain, message me, chat with me up. We can see if we can help you out.
Have your best day ever.